Hey guys, Kane here, and in this video we're gonna talk about formation building. Now, in this video we're gonna touch on quite a few subjects in the version of the units that you may select while forging a formation, also the heroes and stuff like that. So first things first, we're gonna start with the formations. Now, from the perspective of me running most of the Chargers formations, and we have like 6 choices of what we can pick. Honestly, for majority of the formations at the current moment in the game, the Testudo defense formation is probably one of the best formations in the game. Honestly, the reason why it is good is because of the ranged evasion 15%. Now, if you're running a tanky frontline formation or even the Chargers, this ranged evasion 15% is going to be an insane buff for your entire field and your frontline army. Now, the thing is, it may not look like a lot, or this stat in particular may not seem that overpowered, but this stat in general will block basic attacks from landing on your army. And I'm not sure if it's like an entire percentage or it can even be above 100% dodge rate. So basically, quite a few units have a starting evasion in terms of like 0, 10, 15, 20, 30, and I think 60. At least those are the numbers which I have seen units on. So basically, this charger in particular called Sophia, she started out as a 30 ranged evasion, and due to that particular formation she gained another 15, and now she has 45. So basically about 45% chance to miss a ranged attack on her, which is kind of overpowered. As well as I have a weapon which grants movement speed, attack speed, and another 18% ranged evasion for 15 seconds. So that 45 turns to, I think, 63%. And also I have another hero which would grant another 16% ranged evasion for about 20 seconds, and the cooldown from what I have noticed is actually the 30 seconds. So basically this skill will last for 20 seconds, and after it's finished, in another 10 seconds this skill will proc again, which means there's only about 10 seconds in which this particular skill is not that active, which means for majority of the time my main charger in the version of Sophia will always have about 60% ranged evasion, and at some points she may even have about like almost 80%. And do keep in mind that this particular charger increases that ranged evasion on all of the cavalry units, which means even the basic cavalry which I have right now. So that is one of the things in terms of the formation building. You have to focus on a particular formation which may benefit you, and then focus heroes which will buff that formation in general. Now, I've used the movement speed and it kind of seems like a must for the Chargers, but I do think it's a lot better to be more on the defensive side rather than have additional movement speed, as this defense can save your units from dying or evading thousands and thousands of damage. So again, do keep that in mind. Now, in terms of units for your formation, so as you can see, I have a lot of Lizard Riders and I have some of the Empire's Royal Cavalry. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not the skill remains the same for all of the other units, as well as like stuff as the cavalry here and so on, and as well as a few others. However, I started my game by making Vikal a 6-star, and since he is Zakan, he has a faction skill which increases the Zakan's crit damage by 33% for 30 seconds. Now, the crit rate is not that high, and essentially it still procs sometimes, but because of like this particular skill, I went with this Zakan faction, and thus I kind of have these cavalry units. Now, again, I am not sure whether or not this particular awakened skill is faction specific. Now, if this particular skill is faction specific, then I'd probably choose one of the better charger units, which are kind of weak at the moment since they don't have a lot of ranged evasion, as like they had 5%, and then they get another 15 from the formation and another 16 from the hero. So the total that they have is like 36%, which ranged units and spearmen can actually like kill them rather quickly. So essentially, they're one of the weaker cavaliers or cavalry in terms of the defensive capabilities, but they're one of the stronger cavaliers or cavalry in terms of the damage that they're able to do. So, for example, this one has 170 physical attack, and the skill that they have does 420% physical damage. So you can count this as, let's say, about 700 damage in an AoE. So if there's like 5 units around this cavalier, or he's running into like 5 units and he does the charge, he's going to do that amount of damage to multiple units. So if you have a formation filled with a lot of these units, I can even show you what kind of DPS you will be doing in a stage like this. So as you can see, the chargers are going and they're charging, and the damage becomes like 500, and you can see multiple targets are taking damage and dying in like split seconds. Now, the hero chargers are doing quite a lot more damage than the basic cavalry, but heroes essentially will always be a lot stronger. However, the cavaliers will perform a specific job after they are awakened. And the thing is, if we can read the skill, it says grants accelerating movement speed, dealing physical damage, and knocking them back, right? So after we awaken these, it turns 2 charges into the enemy, stunning them for 3 seconds, and deals a lot more damage, knocking them back. So basically, to this basic skill, they also add a stun for 3 seconds. Now, the thing about these chargers is, if you have enough of them, they're gonna be pushing a lot of the enemy units towards the backline, and some of them will also be able to push into the backline and also stun the backline, which means sure, they will be taking a lot of damage, but at the same time they will be stunning those which will be doing damage to them. And essentially, when the heroes get into the backline, their own skill is like over 1,000 physical damage scaling, and also, as you can see, the attack, they can literally just do over 2,000 damage in an AoE. This hero in particular, if she kills a unit, this charge will reset, meaning she can do 2,000 damage and kill like 3 units in the backline. Then her skill of this, or rather this charge, will reset, and then she can kill more units, and so on and so forth. This skill has a 5-second cooldown, so this hero can literally pop off in a matter of seconds. Basically, I made this formation more for grinding the stages very quickly, so I always have these shoes regenerating without any downtime, and that is how farming should be done all the time. Pretty much that is my goal, and if I made a different formation, I would actually be able to clear quite a few more stages in terms of PvE content. But the thing is, I'm going for something which would not, again, as I've said in previous videos, would not cost a lot of my battery life of my phone, or would cost me like insane hours on PC, which would essentially add to like electricity costs or whatever. Since if I do this, I don't even need to keep this game on, and I can just turn it off for another like 10 hours until I would need to turn it back on for another 10 minutes. So in the version of formations, you have to think about what you're going with your formation, what you would want to do with your formation and stuff like that. Mine is mainly just for grinding, as well as looking forward to kind of a very far future. I'm not entirely sure how much time or days it will cost me to awaken all of these, but looking at the price from the shops and stuff like that, like I think it would take me a couple of months to max an entire, or rather awaken an entire formation of these chargers. So yeah, it does look like quite far into the future. So let's go towards the heroes in terms of formations and formation making. So, as you can see, I have quite a few charger heroes at 6 star, and also another charger hero at 4 star in the name of Bella. And then you can see I have a few 1-star heroes as well. So basically, Lavia, Elena, and all the other heroes 1-star are actually given to you free from the storyline. And Sophia, or also Sophia as well, but you can also pull her as the same as others from heroes. And Sophia is probably one of the most broken heroes in the game. There are a few others, but essentially she's one of the few which can carry entire fights just by herself. So basically I went with the chargers, and I have chargers, almost 3 of them 6 star, while the other units which are in the back line in the version of Kurumi, Lavia, Lena, and so on, they are in the back line, so you don't really need to upgrade their stars that much, just because they're not really that focused, or they're acting as like support units for your field if you're running majority of the frontline units. So the reason for maxing majority of the frontline heroes is because they gain health, they gain attack which buffs their skills, they gain physical defense, magical defense, and etc. Now if you don't upgrade the heroes in the frontline and you keep them 1 star, they will die in a matter of seconds from enemy mages, from enemy archers, and enemy heroes. So you cannot really field 1 star frontline heroes if you want to actually win anything. So do keep that in mind. You can have 1 star healers in the backline, 1 star mages in the backline, but you cannot have 1 star heroes in the front line. Now, in the version of your formation, you have to again look forward what formation you're making. So for example, if you're making a mage focused formation, Kurumi is one of the very few damage dealers which can skyrocket the DPS to insane numbers whenever you make her like 6 star and you have either a epic weapon or a legendary weapon. I had her on one of my rerolling accounts, and I've played that account for quite a bit, and this hero alone in a matter of like 20-30 seconds was doing like 40,000 damage, and it was like an AoE damage over time effect, stuff like that, in the version of like even summoning a soldier which can tank damage, and if it dies it does a lot of AoE damage. At the same time, she has like a lot of other AoE damages in terms of poison and whatever. As well as there is another mage which acts like sort of a DPS slash utility slash tank and stuff like that. She summons a lot of spearman type spirits which kinda counter the front line, I suppose, or counter the chargers in the version of like my own formation. And these things can actually carry the entire fight if you do upgrade this hero properly. So she ends up summoning so much of them that essentially this unit or hero alone can actually grant you like another entire formation just by having the fight last over 1 minute or 1 minute and a half. That is how overpowered this hero can be if you do upgrade her. Or even 1 star, but the summons will not be as powerful. I mean, there are a lot of other heroes in terms of mages and stuff like that, which can perform quite a bit, but you have to keep in mind that quite a few of these heroes are not that overpowered. So, for example, if we would go and check stuff like Lena, right? She has an overall rating of 3.8 stars, and she's really bad in in like anything that she does. The same as Alus, he has 3.5 star rating, and I would actually give this hero a 1 star rating. And I did give it a 1 star rating, and as you can see, over 400 kind of voted for this, and like this unit doesn't even deserve 2 stars. So you have to read majority of the skills that the specific heroes have and then look into whether or not it will benefit your formation. So for example, I kind of overlooked that a hero like Bella was actually an insane buffer to a cavalry formation, granting the ranged evasion and even immune to being CC'd for 10 seconds. So basically, if she survives, my units in a span of 30 seconds will not be able to be CC'd for 10 seconds in that time. So 33% of the match, they will not be able to be CC'd. So again, keep that in mind. Some heroes just make your formation entirely overpowered, and you will need to find these heroes. And there are a variety of heroes that can buff the, let's say, a frontline army in the version of like swordsman. There are heroes which can buff the spearman and make them do a lot more damage with attack speed and all that kind of stuff. There are many heroes which can make healers overpowered, as well as archers and so on. So you have to again keep that in mind, what formation you're making, for what you're making that formation, and then looking into the heroes which will make that particular formation overpowered. So basically, this was my tips for formation building and why I made a specific formation like this. Now, the way I can improve this formation is basically just clearing the event stages, or rather campaign stages, unlocking the specific event called Temple, and I'm about I think 5 stages before I can clear it, and then I will be able to farm the awakening materials and then skyrocketing my formation's power rather quickly. In the version of other upgrades which I can get into my formation, I do require other healing heroes, even them being 1 star, same as Lavia, just because like these heroes in the version of units in the army, they're probably one of the weakest units in the game. So as we can see, their healing ability is 270%. If we enhance it, it's only 10% bonus, and it's healed every 4.5 seconds. So let's check upon my 1 star mage healer, which has her skill at level 5. She does 380% heal. Cooldown is 4 seconds. She has 134 per rather magic attack, and this one at 3 star mage, she has 106. So basically, she is a lot slower healer, a lot less percentage, a lot less magic attack, and also do keep in mind that the heroes do have a second passive skill. So basically, if this particular mage is ever focused even the slightest, and sometimes it does happen, she increases her magic attack by 65% for 10 seconds. So basically, she's gonna have like 200 magic attack, and 200 magic attack turns to 800 healing per 4 seconds. So the, let's say, heroes which are healers, they perform even a lot better as 1 star than quite a few other units. However, heroes in the front line will not perform better as 1 star compared to majority of the other 3 or 4 star frontline units upgraded, just because their defenses in the version of like magic defense, physical defense, and all others will be a lot less than that of this army. Now, if you're going for legionnaires and stuff like that, those units essentially are quite overpowered and will be able to tank quite a bit of damage. Anyways, that is pretty much it for the video and my formation building. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe out there.